So we are a multi-sector initiative that builds government, business, nonprofit, and consumer collaboration to advance digital inclusion for seniors and adults with disabilities in San Francisco. And the Tech Council was launched in 2015, and its mission is driven by the core belief that the most effective way to address the complexities of connecting all San Franciscans, as well as to harness some opportunities for innovation and partnership, is through collaboration across all sectors. And I like to kind of think that the Tech Council is really the community table around which our member organizations sit for that very purpose.
My name is Ty, and I'm based out of San Diego, California. And I'll be talking about an issue that's very personal and sensitive to some people. And it's about urinary incontinence. And I'd like to talk about how our company can help empower people with incontinence and to live life with dignity and confidence. So my presentation is about 7 minutes long, and I'll leave some time for Q&A afterwards. So again, my name is Ty, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for a company called Triple W. So we developed a first wearable device for urinary incontinence, and the device uses ultrasound technology to assess how much urine you have in your bladder. And before I get into the details, I'd like to talk a little bit about urinary incontinence. And urinary incontinence is something that's very personal, but it's almost a taboo to talk about it in our society. But there are a lot of people affected by urinary incontinence. In fact, there are 500 million people worldwide with some sort of issues related to incontinence. And you know, I have a feeling that every one of you may know a person or two who have similar challenges. So our addressable market includes seniors with incontinence, people with disabilities, people with provisional incontinence. And up until now, the only solutions for incontinence included wearing adult underwear, taking medications, going through surgeries, and none of these options are really appealing. So we developed, in 2015, we started a company to develop a product called D-Free. And we launched this product in 2017, so almost 3 years ago. And what it is it's an ultrasound sensor that you attach to your lower abdomen. And once it's attached to your tummy, basically, you pull up an app and it'll tell you how full your bladder is. And this product is completely non-invasive. And also there's no side effects as we use ultrasound technology. So just to give you an example of how it works. So you place this sensor on your stomach, and then you pull up an app and see a number between 0 and 10. And in the example, you see a number 8, which means that your bladder is 80% full. And you see this number almost instantaneously. And you can also set a notification threshold, meaning that you see this blue line that cuts across the number 8. And this line can be moved up or down. So you can get a notification to go to the bathroom when your urinary volume is 4 or 5 or 6. And it really depends on that person where you want to set the threshold. But the idea is to let them know that their bladder is starting to get full so that they can start looking for a bathroom. And the idea is to avoid accidents or leaks from happening in the first place. The way that device works is very simple. Your bladder is like a balloon. When you have urine inside, it expands. And when you go to the bathroom and pee, it shrinks. So what we do is we use ultrasound to measure the expansion and contraction of your bladder, and then convert that into a number between 0 and 10. And it works very effectively. And we're the only sensor that provides alert before it happens. There are products out in the market that tells you after you've wet your pad, for example, but that's after the fact. So we try to inform the user before accidents occur. And we sell our products for $399.99 directly to consumers. And we also sell to nursing homes and care facilities in Japan, US, and Europe at the moment. And there are about 500 senior care facilities that use our product at the moment. And for the senior care facilities, we have a subscription model where we charge $100 per model per device, which includes all the technical support, replacements, etc. And just to show you our product in action in nursing homes, it's the care providers that use our device. So they would use our device to assess how full the bladder is for each resident or patient, and then escort them to the bathroom when they need to go. And this is helpful because toileting care takes up so much of their time. And it's such a burden for a lot of nursing homes that they could use technology to really minimize the workload that they have to support their residents. And just a quick number, there are quantifiable benefits for senior care facilities. We've seen increase in self-initiated toilet visits, decrease in accidental leaks, decrease in toilet care time provided, decrease in use of diapers and pads. So there are benefits that we can really quantify for these homes. And we've received a lot of positive feedback. As I mentioned, we shipped over 3,000 units worldwide and 500 senior care facilities. And then this year, we're going to be announcing a new product. So the current product comes with cable, and there are two ends to it. One side is the ultrasound probe, and the other side is the battery and the Bluetooth. And this year, we've integrated all the components into one device. So if anyone can see it, it's very small. So it's literally the size of a matchbox, and you place this on your tummy, and then you open up an app and you're ready to go. So we expect to sell this product lower than the $400 price point. We want to try to hit a much lower price point with this product to make it more affordable. All right, so that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Great. I know there will be some coming in, but I have a couple for you to start out with, Ty. I know we talked about in our earlier conversation the connection between incontinence and having to go into longer term care. And that, can you talk a little bit about that and how something like this can help someone age in place for a much longer period of time?
Yeah, you know, it's all of us want to age in place or age in our homes. But one factor that really pushes the care providers and mostly family members to placing their loved ones in professional assistance is incontinence. So incontinence is something that's very difficult to manage. So oftentimes that's really the major reason why people go into nursing homes.
Right. And another question, and also if you do have questions, put them in the box or do you raise your hand. But I know that you talked about the relationship between falls and incontinence, and falls are one of the major risk factors for older adults. Can you talk a little bit more about that connection?
Yeah. So oftentimes a lot of seniors try to go to the bathroom during the middle of the night, and that's when they fall. And it's more common than you think. In fact, my father, who's 83, also fell and broke his arm. So it really happens very frequently. And oftentimes it's about going to the bathroom. And if you know somebody needs to go to the bathroom, let's say, you know, during the middle of the night, you know, you can escort them to the bathroom. You can help them to the bathroom. So that's one of the ways to prevent serious injuries from happening.
Right. We have another question come in. Do you know whether people with dementia are generally comfortable wearing the device?
Yeah, you know,
great question.
Yeah, great question. To be honest with you, our products is not very liked by people with dementia. They tend to dislike anything that's attached to their body. So oftentimes what we see is the sensor on the floor in the morning. They just tend to just take it off and then, you know, place it somewhere else.
Right. Do you have a population or kind of candidate who is ideal for this kind of product when you think about somebody who this could really help and who is amenable to using it?
Yeah, it could be active seniors,
Right.
people who are very active, very independent, but they need a little bit of advanced warning in terms of when to go to the bathroom. So that's one group. And the other group is people who are more bedbound and they need professional care providers to help them to the bathroom.
What about people with disabilities? You mentioned that earlier on. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So we're actually being used by veterans. We work very closely with a VA hospital at the moment, and a lot of veterans with spinal cord injury, they have no sensation in terms of when to go to the bathroom. So they use their device to assess how full their bladder is, and then they go to the bathroom to void.
So that takes in a whole range of ages when you're looking
Correct.
at. All right.
Yes.
We have a question here, very relevant. Does Medicare or insurance pay for this kind of device yet?
Yeah, we're trying, but at the moment, it is not covered by any private or public insurance.
Okay.
So that's why we're trying to get the cost down as much as possible.
And another question is this: do you deal with organizations, in terms of senior care centers, rehab centers, those kinds of things, as well as individuals, or what kind of market are you looking at?
Yeah, our primary customers are nursing homes or senior care facilities, or assisted living. So majority of our revenue comes from B2B, selling to senior care facilities.
Great, thank you.
And Ty, this is Andrew here. on the smaller form factor in your kind of next generation device, will that, it looked like, could be quite, you don't have to attach it, or do you have to keep it attached? Could you just kind of place it over your abdomen, as needed versus the current version that you have?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So you can just place it if you want to get a reading at the moment, or the idea is to keep it on to see a trend. It's if you open up an app, you see a number, but you also see a chart, and you see a gradual increase in urinary volume. After you go to the bathroom, it goes down, and then it goes back up, and you get a much better understanding of your bladder. Your intervals between toilet visits. You know how much urine you tend to accumulate before you need to go. A lot of data can be assessed using our app.
And when you're doing direct to consumer sales, are you typically selling to family caregivers then in terms of the kind of purchase of these devices for someone they're caring for? And what kind of feedback do you get from them in terms of the difference this makes in their life as a caregiver?
Yeah, it's often the family members that are taking care of their father, their mother, and it's usually the care providers that find our product and purchases it. So they like to use it so that they can minimize the work required to assist their loved ones. So it's one thing they do. And just a side story is that a lot of parents buy this for their kids who wet their bed. So the kids tend to be, 5 years old, 6 years old, and they still wet their bed, and they use a sensor to prevent that.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us
today,
Ty. This is really interesting. Can you put your website and contact information in the chat box? That'd be great, so that people can get in touch with you. Do you have any idea when your new 2021 model will be released?
Yeah, so we're looking at June or July timeframe at the moment. So we'll update our website soon.
Great. Thank you so much.